Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out AmItheA whole. Story 1. AITA for no longer wanting to attend events with my mother-in-law there. I, 32F, and my husband, 33M, have been together for 6 years, married for 3. I've had a challenging relationship with my mother-in-law. It all started with our wedding planning when she wanted control over every detail even though we were all splitting the cost. For instance, she insisted on picking the guest list, flowers, decor, food, and even the bridesmaids' dresses, although she didn't join us to shop for them. She even had negative. Story 2. AITA for declining to be a bridesmaid even though I can afford to. I, F28, was married last year. I made Anne, F29, my maid of honor. Anne and I often hang out with Belle, F28, because we were all girls in the same friend group. I do not like Belle at all. The feeling is mutual. She is a bully and she is only nice when she is drunk. Belle only likes to see me to compare our lives and try to put me down. But Anne is my very dear friend and expressed that she feels guilty when she doesn't invite Belle because she knows Belle has no other friends. Despite this, I made Belle one of my bridesmaids because Anne was my maid of honor and I knew Belle would kick up a fuss behind my back unless I made her a bridesmaid. I paid for all my bridesmaids' stuff, including dresses and bachelorette party, because I thought it was unfair to burden them with my expenses and because I could afford to. Everyone had a blast and luckily there was no drama. Now Belle is getting married and has made me and Anne bridesmaids. I wouldn't really have an issue with this except Belle is expecting us to cover our own expenses. I am well off and could afford to, but I'd rather not because I am still saving up for a home in a high COL area. When I declined, Belle was upset and mentioned that I could easily afford the expense. I said that I simply don't want to but I would be happy to be a guest. Belle brought up that she was my bridesmaid, but I reminded her that I paid for all her expenses. Now Belle is having a fit and threatening to remove Anne as a bridesmaid. Anne is actually relieved because she couldn't afford the expense, $2,000 for the dress so far, but her feelings are hurt and she told me that I should have sucked it up and paid. Was I the asshole? Story 3. AITA to tell my mother that I need a vacation because I have been burned out being a caregiver. Hi, I am 29-year-old woman who lost my dad to stroke 6.5 years back. My mother has been patient of muscular dystrophy in which you start losing strength in hands and legs and start losing balance. I was 22 when I lost my dad. Till then my mother was able to walk holding support at home but after a year my dad passed away. She became bedridden. I've been taking care of her since then with absolutely no support. Thankfully my dad has left us enough wealth to support ourselves enough till I manage home including cooking, cleaning, etc. There were times where I had a fracture in my leg and still cleaned my mom, also twice I had a high viral fever still accomplished my duty as a daughter even though I myself was shivering, in last 6 years. Never neglected my mom and cooked recipes, kept entertaining her tantrums. My mom has thrown her anger and frustration after dad on me. I have silently cried and taken it all, also she has used abusive words. I swallowed everything. Now I'm completely burned out. My career has not even started. I want to go to a small vacation to relieve my stress because it's getting difficult to face each day and continue with the caregiving task as well household chores. I told my mom about the same but she started abusing me to get out of the house. No nurse will be called if you go for vacation. I can't just leave her and go. Nobody is going to take in those duties other than paid help. It's getting seriously difficult for me to face each day. I want my freedom. AITA. Story 4. AITA for starting a fight with my BF for forgetting to pick up my engagement ring. BF, M33, received a call yesterday that my F30 ring was ready to pick up. So last night when he mentioned the phone call he made it seem like we would pick it up today after he got off work. It was very exciting for me since we've been together for very close to 7 years. He called out from work today because he was having stomach pain in the night. Today he thought about what he wanted to do and made no mention of picking up the ring. At first I was sad and very quiet, but as the day progressed I got very angry. He kept asking me what was wrong and I immediately knew he completely forgot. Time and time again this man disappoints me. With special and little moments like today. I was not expecting him to propose today at all, but I thought it was still a very special moment for us. Today was supposed to be extra special and exciting for the both of us, or at least I thought so, and he seemed way more concerned about what he wanted to do today. All I wanted was for both of us to be excited and happy. Pick up the ring together and give the other a long hug. Now we're fighting and giving the other the silent treatment. AITA? Story 5. Wibda, if I told my classmate that they smell me, 18F, and my two friends, 18F, have noticed that after PE, a classmate of ours smells. It's not even only after PE, she smells every day. I feel bad about it, but I can't stand it. We've thought about telling her, but it might be too mean. We also thought about subtly offering her some deodorant, but she's the type to decline and leave, and even if she wanted deodorant, I'm sure she's have it herself. We've, as well, thought about telling her best friend in class about it, so she could maybe break the news easier. It's a lot better coming from a close friend than a stranger, I feel. Or should we just ignore it? We've thought about many different options, but I can't stand it any longer. You can smell it when she's sitting in front of you as well. Wibda? Story 6. AITA, for wanting privacy in my own bedroom. So I, under 18F, have a couple photography assignments to do for school. I would like my door closed as I do this, so I can adjust the lighting as I need and so no one can walk by and ruin my shots. My mom insists on me having my door open because she wants to monitor me. I told her that I wanted privacy and that I needed my door closed to do my photography assignment, and she snapped on me, calling me an entitled bitch and that I don't need privacy because what am I possibly doing where I would need privacy? And even threatened to remove my door. So I am now grounded for simply wanting my door closed while I do a school assignment. This got quite out of hand to the point where she was in my face merely centimeters away screaming at me, which triggered the shit out of me as I am autistic and don't like loud noises or when people get too close. I started to stim and twitch violently and she yelled even louder about how I'm overreacting and even faking the trigger. Am I the asshole? Story 7. AITA, for giving an ultimatum to my partner. I, 32F, have been dating Chad, 41M, for 4 months now, and it has been honestly one of my most healthy relationships I've had in a while. We are definitely testing the term opposites attract. Chad has a very preppy, country club aesthetic, while I have a rockabilly, punk aesthetic and am a roller derby player. We're able to look past that and truly enjoy each other's company with clear communication of our wants and needs. When going into this relationship, I said from the beginning that I have no desire to have children. So much so that back in 2019 I got a tubal ligation. The timing was right and the stars were aligned. My insurance covered 100% of the procedure, and the very first doctor I asked to do the procedure agreed on the spot. It was honestly the best decision I ever made, and the whole experience was very smooth. The other night, Chad brought up the topic of our future in conversation. He stated that he doesn't want his wife to work as his job could provide a comfortable life for both of us. Chad then asked if I was honestly set on not having children because he is honestly very wishy-washy on the subject. Chad said that one day he's fine not having kids, then the next day he wants 5. He also started talking about my engagement ring, saying he wants the diamond to be a minimum of 5 carats. I was so shocked that the subject was brought up, that I feel I couldn't really process my thoughts clearly in the moment. That week, Chad's goals were swirling in my mind, and every time I thought of my life as a housewife and mother I started to have panic attacks. I reached out to my roller derby team about the situation on Discord, and one of my teammates gave me some good resources if that was the route I ended up choosing. I also talked to my dad about it and he posed some good questions. Would I find purpose being a housewife? Am I comfortable being financially dependent on someone? The ultimate answer is no. I love my career and the company I work for, and I can't see myself giving that up. I also looked at all scenarios, and I cannot see myself as a mother. They either forgot to install a biological clock or they installed a broken one. I talked to Chad, and I told him that I will not give up my career and I took a firm stance on being child-free. I said that these were non-negotiables, and that we can go our separate ways if that can't work for him. Chad then said that he didn't have a solid plan of what he wanted and needed to think about it. My teammates are happy with me making my stance, but my best friend said I was putting too much pressure on Chad and that I may be putting the best relationship I've ever had on the line. The thing is that Chad brought up our future. He opened the door and it can't be closed. Am I putting too much pressure on Chad with being so stern and providing ultimatums? Story 8. AITA for saying that's rich coming from you to a family with kids when they complained about our dog. Hi y'all. This sub recently helped me out with another issue, so I figured I could return and present another issue, even though it's not that dramatic. Context: my family was at a restaurant to eat out because we celebrated Uncle's 50th birthday. We also brought our dog along. I completely understand when people are annoyed when there are dogs everywhere and some people really take it too far, I get it, but basically we had no choice. Our girl has trauma and can't stay alone for too long and we had no one to watch her. And, I know everyone says that, but she's really well behaved. She just lays under the table, looks around a bit and sometimes begs a little, but only from us. She's also really small. Anyway, there were some couples and groups of threes present, but the only other bigger party were, what I guess, a mum, a grandma and 2 kids, 3-6-ish. I should say that I like kids. I really do. I want to work with kids, in fact, I'm 18, BTW. But these little guys were still somewhat disturbing. They screeched and yelled and one of the kids asked like 3 times for fries when they were already ordered for him. A bit annoying but not to the point I would complain, honestly. However, pretty suddenly the grandma started to complain about people that bring their dog everywhere and that it's so gross when one is in a closed area. She looked in our direction with an annoyed face and I admit, it annoyed me pretty much. Would it have been any of the other guests, I would understand. But our girl was simply minding her own business while their kiddos annoyed everyone. So I looked at her and said, that's rich coming from you, since your group is the most disturbing one here while no one complains about Tinka. The grandma stared at me and then looked at my parents so they would say something, but my mom simply continued to eat and my dad looked back at her and grinned. She looked like she wanted to say more, but the other woman told her to let it be and tried to calm the kids down. We didn't interact further the rest of our stay. This happened 2 days ago, but I'm still unsure if I was my call to say what I said. Because I know how kids can be and it really can be annoying when everyone brings their dog everywhere, but I just felt the need to defend my dog because she wasn't doing anything. So Reddit, AITA. Edit, I didn't ask if I'm the off for bringing our dog with us. The restaurant was dog friendly. Edit 2, I'm not American. Please stop calling me names for doing something legally, smiley face. Edit 3, I'm gonna log out now. This is a little bit overwhelming and some people are sadly getting toxic. I'll accept everyone's judgment. I honestly didn't want to start a dogs and kids restaurant debate, and I see now that dog culture is very different in Europe than in the US. Thanks to the nice and constructive people that didn't just call me names. Final edit, logging in one final time. I was overwhelmed by the bug amount of. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.